Hey guys, what's up? Emmanuel Simon Sakala right here, and in the studio is
Mr. Matthew Tibok Monaka. How you doing out there?
All right, welcome to another episode of The Reactor.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about qualifications.
Qualifications.
Yes, sir. There's a story that happened a few weeks ago of a very famous guy who apparently was claiming to have a diploma and also an honorary PhD and all that stuff. And apparently it was put to light that he didn't have any of that.
Okay.
It was all bogus and that. So on that topic, do you really think that qualifications really matter regardless of what you're really doing? Because about this guy in the particular topic, he's actually a guy who's been doing a lot in the field that he was trying to apply for, because he's been trying to apply to be a president of ZIFA. Yet he has built stadiums and he has done a lot of things in the soccer, soccer side, though he doesn't have qualifications. Do you think qualifications matter when it comes to sitting on roles?
Okay. I think this topic is a very good topic, and it ties into one of our other topics. Probably you can watch it somewhere here, somewhere there. I don't know where you're going to take it. About Maroro.
Yeah.
And about the one we were talking about quite recently,
Yeah.
journalism. To say, I think a qualification matters, because if you're going to call yourself a degree holder, right, then you have to have the degree.
Okay.
So much so that whether you've helped 10 million babies out there, and it can, as we said, character and money are two things that matter in a society, not just the money. So if you look at the money and the things that you've managed to do, you've managed to sponsor this, build that, yes, but then your character, then how confident are we in you when you have more power than that you have now?
So you need to have a paper
to
confirm your character. Does a paper confirm character?
Not confirm character, but I think, as you said, to say, if you're going to say you have a paper that you don't have, that means you're lacking on the character. But then what you are asking to say, do you need a paper to confirm whether you're qualified to do something? Definitely, I think you need a paper. Why? Because the paper denotes that you've gone through a certain level of testing and a certain level of knowledge-based questions, or industry-based questions, or what can we call it? Technical questions related to whatever you say you have a qualification in. So definitely you need a piece of paper. You need someone to be able to say, yes, you've done it. Because if you by yourself say, yes, I'm the best guitar player, when you've never really gone against anyone, and it's just in you and your head,
all right, I hear you. But have you noticed that, or rather, did you hear recently Elon Musk was recruiting programmers, and you know what he said? Doesn't care about qualifications. All he cares about is your ability to program.
Definitely, I think that what Elon Musk said was something that the industry really needs to be shaken up, because there are a lot of people who don't have qualifications, right, that are capable of achieving certain things, but because they failed to reach a certain percentile. It even goes back to our previous topic.
Yes, I was even going to talk about this. So still the question holds.
Yes.
Do you still think qualifications matter? Now that you are coming to realizing that people can be skilled,
yes,
and actually be qualified technically, but just not have a paper.
Definitely. From what I was saying in that previous episode, my point was the way it's designed in a certain way that we can never get to see that you can achieve something. Why? Because if you don't have the 5 O levels, then go to this direction to get the sense. We haven't really tested you for the other sides. So going back to the question that you asked, to say, does a qualification matter, having a certain qualification? Yes, it matters if you are going to want to use it within the place where those qualifications need to be had. Do you get the sense?
All right.
Now, in a situation with Elon Musk, where he's like, I don't need you to have the certain qualification then in that case, yes. But takati truda vanhu vanema 2-1 or whatever, my distinctions in whatever field, kuti vaungane apa paka, then we are looking for those people, I would assume, because of a specific reason. So yes, we need people.
But you know, generally the classic way of just recruiting employees is just checking their CVs and then coming through for interviews. And they don't really go through a practical interview where they have to do the skill that they are applying for per se. And most of the times you employ incompetent people and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the reasons why Elon Musk is moving away from this classical way of employing. So the question that follows up is, do you think we should stick on to this classical way of employing people, where we just say CVs and qualifications in the paper? Yet it has proven countless times that it's not really the most effective way of employing people.
I would like to add two things there.
Yeah.
Right. The first thing that I would like to add is what Elon Musk is pushing for is not anything new. I would actually go back to what Neil deGrasse said about Elon Musk and what he does. It seems as if because Elon Musk he has a lot of money, not seems as if he actually has a lot of money, right?
400 billion, bro.
But now because he has so much money, it seems as if he's the most knowledgeable person in anything that he talks about.
He's the president of the United States.
Anything that he says is revolutionary and he's the first one to think about it. With recruitment, there's always been quantitative.
No, I just used him because he's like
definitely, but I'm getting to a point about Elon Musk.
Right.
To say within recruitment, there's quantitative and qualitative ways of recruiting. Right? The quantitative ways are the ones that you look at the CV where if you worked in.
That's the most popular one.
Yes. The qualitative ways are the psychometrics and the what.
I know.
Yes. So now it depends on whether the organization employs them or not. But because Elon Musk said it seems as if.
Okay, fine. Can I hold you there? You know, most of the times you don't get to go through psychometrics from zero. You need to pass the CV level first.
Yes, definitely.
And you need to pass the criteria. Toda 5 O level, toda degree. You just don't walk and go into psychometric. O level, degree. That means still we're using the quantitative method and just superposing it on the qualitative one.
Yes.
And I'm asking here, should we forego this classical way of the quantitative one
first
and just use qualitative straight ahead? Because look at it this way. If that's the way we're going to go, obviously if you say to plant and feet and interview whatever practical and they literally do the job, you are guaranteed these people will do the job, unlike someone who just comes with the CV. Those things could be a lie, and by the time you employ this person, two doesn't know jack.
True story. I totally agree with you there, but I think why using the qualitative first and the quantitative then the qualitative after is one thing. I have nothing against Elon Musk, but then the way I see the way Elon Musk does things, right? And this is also coming from the point that he also brought up that point of let's use the qualitative first, right? Because he mentioned it in his tweet. I think most of the things that he does, they're so sensationalized that people lose the plot behind what he's saying. And I don't know if it's on purpose, that he's doing it on purpose so that he just seems so anti everything that's happening. Like, hey, right now he's running that force in the US government. Doge, that's now going and say the US
Doge is doing great stuff.
Yes, definitely. But that's what I'm saying to say. I'm not sure whether it's intentional.
Okay, fine.
I'm not sure whether it's intentional or it's all part of the rules, where he's just doing everything that's anti, and it seems so revolutionary, like he's changing the whole world because he's doing everything anti. This topic here of bringing the qualitative before the quantitative when it comes to recruitment, I think the best and the easiest way and the fastest way and the most efficient way is to start with the quantitative. Why? Because majority of the people are the people who fall into the quantitative bracket, are the people who can execute tasks, are the people who can come to school on time, who can get 5 O levels. Those are the people who build organizations. The people who are the Elon Musks, who are the mavericks that come up with new inventions and whatnot, they are very volatile and very difficult to find. So much so that tweet that he put out there to say, I just want someone who's like that. Yes, you get someone who can create a code in 10 seconds, but that person is so volatile. He didn't go through the rigorous training of finally getting the O level.
Didn't go through an open system.
Yes,
the open need to be sifted.
Yes, the open system. Do you know what it does? It sifts on fundamentals that you need in an employee. That's what it basically does. You need an employee who gets to work on time. You need an employee who listens. You need an employee who knows boundaries. That's basically what you need from a normal employee who's going to be the normal factory worker. Who are you going to call the thousands? The star employee, the maverick who's giving you millions of dollars, that person you can't search for him using that way. So definitely we need the quantitative, because the people who make up most of these organizations are the people who get to chicken in on time. And start frying the burgers on time. They're not the maverick trying to create a new burger. But because it's Elon Musk who pushes agendas, it makes it feel as if every company needs a maverick who's going to be pushing boundaries and making. No, you need someone who's just going to get to work on time, fry the burger, go home, come back, repeat, wash it.
That is if you don't want a new burger.
Yes.
Because if you want a new burger, then you need that kind of a person.
Yes, you need that kind of a person. But look at the levels Elon Musk is operating at. He's operating at levels of diminishing marginal returns, where you have so much money that you really need to do the outlandish things for you to make your next dollar. But if you, the normal person who doesn't have hundreds and billions of dollars, you don't really need to operate your business or even operate your life on the extreme side.
I hear you.
He needs to do that because he needs to make the next dollar. He can't do what he's been doing.
I totally hear you. I agree with you to some extent, though I'm not sure on the fact that it just has to be Elon Musk who is living on diminishing marginal returns. I think even when you need new ideas and fresh ideas, innovative ideas, even as you're growing, you need people like that who think outside of the box.
But the way now it's being popularized, it makes it seem as if finally you see you don't really need a degree for you to be anything special.
Okay, fine. Do you know that
on.
back then in the day that was the way of things? You just get an apprentice. Apprentice
but also an apprentice you'd go through years of apprenticeship. And what your mentor, your supervisor, whatever name you would have, right? You'd make sure that you lay my bricks. You can lay them now straight without using that thing. What do they call that thing? I don't know what they call it for laying that level. You've gone to that level so much so you can finally leave your apprenticeship and start your.
Because these people that we're talking about, I mean, this is what we're actually talking about people who can code. Definitely. And here we're talking about people who can literally lay bricks, though as a qualification.
Definitely.
Qualifications. And here the case in point was our guy.
Definitely.
The prophet.
No,
the prophet seems
that's where it all falls apart. No.
The prophet has been doing great stuff. He built a stadium.
The prophet has been doing.
Do you know that he's actually been talking with our council?
But you know,
did you hear?
Yeah, to upgrade Mcheke Stadium. But you know where it all falls apart for me? The moment you just said the prophet. Because anyone who now subscribes to any religious beliefs,
prophet, yes,
religious beliefs, then goes on to break those religious beliefs by lying, allegedly
fine.
lying.
Otherwise, but
but we don't. One thing that unfortunately I'm not part of the council, but I think as we said originally, if we want someone to come and help us to Kutambra Mcheke Stadium, we shouldn't just open our hands to anyone who has $1 million and says I want to develop. Mcheke Stadium.
But the prophet don't know us.
True, but
Prof knows gamma. You know, problem Matthew. How many qualified people with degrees, PhDs, masters have scandals?
How many qualified people?
Lagawanda, that's my point. How many people who are qualified as scandals? The only problem is that our prophet doesn't have a paper and he also has scandals.
Scandal rachoka rachokutaura charichari. Iskandal rokuti ndine paper asina. That allegedly is it's different from me saying
Zesa went. Okay guys, unfortunately Zesa went, so let's talk about this next time.
See ya.
Bye.